Good evening, children. I hope everyone are doing fine. I'll be continuing with the chapter 3, Fiber to Fabric. You all have already learned about few topics under this lesson, that is about wool and processing of fibers into wool. Okay, so you have covered all these topics, isn't it? Your sir has taught you people. Now I'll be taking about the topic silk. Okay, coming to the topic silk. You are very familiar with this term silk, isn't it? By the way, where we are getting the silk from? It is nowhere from a animal called silkworm. And you can see how beautifully the silkworm looks like in the picture. Okay, so here I've shown a picture of silkworm where it is developing a cocoon. Okay, and you will be studying what is cocoon and all in the next slide. And here silk is a fiber which has been obtained from an animal fiber. That animal is nothing but silkworm. And the rearing of silkworm for obtaining the silk is called sericulture. What do you call it as children? Sericulture. Okay. So we are rearing the silkworm for what? To get a silk from them. Have you all seen silk saris? Your mom will be wearing beautiful saris and she have preserved it very safe because it is very costlier as well, isn't it? So different variety of silk saris, Mysore silk, Kanchipuram silk. Okay, so all the silk saris your mother would have shown you people, isn't it? So once you check with her, so what kind of silk saris she has and where the silk comes from. The silk is obtained from silkworm, and this is how the silkworm looks like. As I said, silkworms are animal. They belong to animal category, isn't it? And you also know animals cannot synthesize their own food. So what do? They need to depend on the plant for a food. But these silkworms, they never depend on all plants for food. They are very particular with one plant, that is mulberry plant. They only feed on mulberry leaves. Okay. So you all have tasted mulberry fruit, isn't it? They nothing but they obtain from this mulberry plant itself. So this mulberry leaf, you can see how mulberry leaf look like in the second picture. These freshly leaves are collected from the plant and they are chopped into pieces and they are given to these silkworms to feed on. Okay, they feed on these leaves and they get food from these plant, that is mulberry plant. Now let us understand the life history of a silk moth. Okay, so here in the first picture you can see the female silk moth is laying eggs on the leaf, and you can see at one time it lays thousands to thousands of eggs at one stage. I mean in once it lays so much of eggs. Okay, and later in the second step you can see each egg hatches with a larva. You can see how larva has been coming out of the egg here. In the third stage, they feed this larva with the mulberry leaves, which is finally chopped. They cut into small pieces because the larva is very small, isn't it? And they can't feed on very large leaves. They can't digest it. That is the reason they cut into small pieces and they give very small pieces to larva. That is, initial stage of silkworm is said to be larva. They give this pieces of mulberry leaves to larva. After they keeps on eating, they develop their body, isn't it? And finally, they reach to the stage where you can see in a fourth picture how the silkworm looks, isn't it? Somewhat orangish yellow. That means the silkworm is ready to spin. Okay, ready to prepare a cocoon, isn't it? And you can see in the bottom first picture how the cocoon is being formed by a silkworm. Okay, and this is said to be a fiber, isn't it? This silkworm will cover the fiber around them and they convert into pupa. So you can see in the second picture, bottom second picture, how a pupa looks inside the cocoon. Okay, and after this, what we do is, to obtain a silk, we kill this pupa. We can't cut the cocoon and we can't remove the pupa because there will be discontinuity of the threads if you cut the cocoon, isn't it? To obtain that continuity of thread, continuity of silk, what we do is we collect all the cocoons and we dip it in a boiling water. You can see in the third picture how they have dipped all the cocoons in the boiling water and they are obtaining the threads. And you can see how the threads has been reeled in a machine. Okay, so if you cut it, what happens? There will be discontinuity of the threads. So that is why they pick all the good healthy cocoons and they dip it in a boiling water and they obtain the threads. And later this fiber is being converted, they utilize this fiber to what do you say, to weave a sari. It's like silk saris, isn't it? So this is overall life history of a silk moth. Isn't it so beautiful creature the silkworm is, isn't it? We get very good quality of silk and it is costlier also, isn't it? We get very beautiful saris to wear, isn't it? Yeah. Next we will see overall life cycle of a silkworm. So children, you can see here life cycle of silkworm. First, what did we saw? We saw that moth, silk moth has laid eggs on the leaves. And this leaves is collected. Here you can see a tiny black caterpillar hatches out of its egg. And you can see small caterpillar. Yes, it is called as caterpillar or larva. The caterpillar eats mulberry leaves and grows bigger and bigger. It goes through 4 molts. Molts in the sense, see, first will be the larva stage. When it keeps on eating the leaves and it becomes little large in the second stage. And again it keeps on eating the mulberry leaves and it will go to molting stage. Means it sheds its skin, outer skin. Okay, and next it attends a third stage. Later again the molting occurs and fourth stage it goes to, and next stage will be fifth stage. And that fifth stage, it is said to be, it has went to the stage where it can spin the silk. Next, the caterpillar spins a cocoon of silk threads around itself. Like in a previous slide, I showed you people how it spins the cocoon, isn't it? Later, inside the cocoon, the caterpillar turns to pupa. You just now saw how pupa looks like, isn't it? So here they make use of this cocoon to reel the silk, or they just leave it like that because uh, to get the eggs from moth, they just leave like that so that the pupa is turned into moth and it emerges out of the cocoon. Again, the female moth and the male moth, they copulate together to lay eggs. The female will lay eggs and the life cycle will continue like this. And this is about the life cycle of silkworm. Coming to variety of silkworms, there is a variety of silk moths which look very different from one another, and the silk yarn they yield is different in texture. Example like coarse, smooth, shiny. So they are very different. So if you look into silk, um, it is very shiny and it is very soft, okay, and very smooth compared to other type of silk. You can see here variety of silkworms. So first is the tassar silk. Okay, so this is how the tassar worm look like, and when it attains to spin this one cocoon, and the type of silk is been obtained is tassar silk. Okay, so it is bit low quality, so compared to a pure silk. And moga silk, you can see how moga look like, and the silk obtained from Muga is entirely different from other silkworms. Second one is Muga, and third one is Kosa silk. Okay, Kosa silk is obtained from a worm called Kosa worm, Kosa silkworm. Okay, and you can see how different the silk look like from three different silkworms. So this is a three different silkworms that has been mentioned in your syllabus as well. Just go through the textbook once and compare the reading with this pictures so that it will remain in your mind. Clear, children? So this is about variety of silkworms. So children, we are completed with the topic as well as we are completed with the chapter fiber to fabric. I hope everyone had followed today's concept. It was very beautiful concept about silkworm and its life history. Okay, and worksheet, I'll be sending worksheet along with this video. Do solve it and have a good day. See you all.